Good afternoon, my dear students. I'm going to explain the concept we took yesterday, and I'm sure by the end of the video you will understand it really well, because I feel that yesterday most of you were a little bit mixed up in it. So let's start. I'll start with a sequence that you already know and you already took, which is counting by 4. So this is times table 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and so on. So this is 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3, and so on. So because it's counting by 4, okay, I can find, for example, the coming number. This is 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4 times 4, 4 times 5. So here I'll do 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24, right? So this is a formula, and we agreed that formula is like a rule. A formula to find any number in this sequence. What do I mean? N stands for the position of the number, position. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So if I want the next number, the seventh number, the seventh, I'll do 4 times 7, right? What is 4 times 7 is 28. So what if I want the 10th number? The 10th number, I'll substitute by n equals 10. So what is 4 times 10? 4 times 10 is 40, and so on, right? So 4n is a formula for any number in the sequence 4 times table 4. What about the coming sequence 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on? So this is counting by 2. So we say the formula is 2n. Let's do a really simple check. If I want you to find the 6th number in the sequence, find the 6th number in the sequence, I'll substitute by n equals what? N equals 6. What is 2n? Means 2 times n. So if I want the 6th number, n will be 6. So what is 2 times 6? 2 times 6 is 12, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And yes, 2 times 6 is 12. So n stands for the position of the number in the sequence. What about the coming one? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. This sequence is counting by 3. So the formula counting by 3, and it starts with 3. Take care of this point. Because if I want the first number, it will be 3 times 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. So this sequence, the formula is 3n. What about this one? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It is 5n. The formula to find any number in the sequence, 5n. Khalas, we know. N stands for the position of the number in the sequence. What if I want the 100th term? Does it make sense that I keep on counting 100 times? No. I can just do 5 times 100. It will be 500. What about this one? 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on. So this is a sequence counting by 6. So the formula is 6n. I think this part is really simple and really clear. Okay, let's get started by another sequence, and so that you write the formula for it. I wrote here the definition of the nth position of the nth term. Nth means the position of the number in the sequence. Okay, the position of the number in the sequence. So stands for any position. So let's start. This sequence starts with 8, okay? Then 11, 14, 17. What is the first thing that you should do in any sequence? First, see, is it going up or down? Here it's going up, okay? Going up by what? Going up by 3, right? So this is plus 3. This is plus 3. So each time I'm adding 3. What if he says, this is a really simple question. Find the next term in the sequence. You keep on adding 3 each time. So the next term in the sequence will be 20. Okay? It's going to be 20. Okay. Then he wants a formula for this sequence. We agreed that the sequence that's counting by 3, I have to write 3n, right? I have to write 3n. Let me write it more clearly. I have to write 3n, right? But if you notice that when I wrote 3n, the sequence started with 3, right? But the sequence that I'm working with now is starting with 8, right? So 8 is bigger than 3 by 5. I'm sure it's very easy now. Again, this sequence is starting with 3, counting with 3. So I must write 3n as we agreed, but the original sequence, which is counting by 3 for the formula 3n, was starting with 3, but this one was starting with 8. So 8 is bigger than 3 by 5. So the formula for this sequence is 3n plus 5, because it's bigger than the 3n formula by 5. I'm sure it's pretty easy now. So let's answer one of the questions related to using the formula. If I said find the 10th term. 10th means you keep on counting. That's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. If I said find the nth term, honestly, I'll tell you what is going to happen. There are two types of students. A student who is going to keep on counting, adding 3 each time. And there is a student who's going to use this formula, and this kind of student, honestly, is learning more because he's using the new concept. So 3n plus 5 means I'll take away n, I'll substitute by n equals 10, because we agreed 10th means the term which is in the 10th position. So let's substitute. I'll substitute here. What is 3 times 10? It is 30. 30 plus 5, it is 35. So the 10th position in the sequence is 35. Let's answer another kind of like another sequence, but I'll keep on working on finding the formula. Okay? Finding the formula, which is like a general rule. Look at this sequence. 5, 9, 13, 17, and so on, right? Okay, first thing I do, I see if the sequence counting more or less. This sequence is counting more. Okay, counting more by what? You have to check from the first second. It is adding 4, and I must check plus 4, plus 4. So I must check. Okay? So we agreed that if any formula is counting by 4, I must write 4n. But 4n was the formula for the sequence that was starting with 4, right? But this sequence is starting with 5. So 5 is more than 4 by 1. So I will write 4n plus 1. I'm sure it's very easy. Why? Because this sequence is starting with 5, and the original sequence for 4n is starting with 4. So I have to say 4n plus 1, because this is more than the 4n sequence by 1. Very easy. Let's answer another question. Find the 20th term. Find the 20th term. Two types of students. A student who would keep on counting 20 times, which is, I find, a big waste of time, and another student who is learning more by using the new concept. He will substitute in this general formula. 4n means 4 times n, and here I want the 20th term, so n here will be 20. N here in the question is 20. Why 20? Because this is the question that he wants. He wants the 20th term. So let's substitute. What is 4 times 20? 4 times 20 is 80. Plus 1, 81. So the 20th term in this sequence is 81. You keep on counting in this sequence 20 times, and you will find that the 20th number is 81. Okay, let's find another example. I'll answer another example so that you are very comfortable in this lesson, okay? Here is another sequence. It is 2, 6, 10, 11, 10, 14, and so on. What is the first thing that I do? See if the sequence going up or down. In this lesson, it's all going up, because going down is a little bit different. So it's going up by 4, right? By 4. I check by 4. Okay, so 4n, this is what I will start with, because if it's counting by 4, it is 4n. But 4n, as we agreed, is the formula for the sequence that it's starting with 4. But this sequence is starting with 2, right? So 2 is less than 4 by 2. So I will write 4n minus 2. Right? I hope it's easy. I'll put them next to each other like this. Here, this sequence is starting with 4. This sequence is starting with 2. So this is less than this by 2. So that's why I write minus 2. So this is the general formula for this sequence, right? Okay, my question is find the 100th term. But now, I'm sure the first type of student who keeps on counting won't be able to count 100 times, right? So in this case, you must use the formula. So the student who is using the new concept will find it really easy. So let's substitute. Here, n will be 100. Why 100? I know that some people miss. Why will I substitute with 100? Because that's the question. In the question, he will tell you, find the 100th term, find the 20th term, find the 50th term, and so on, right? So I'll substitute here. What is 4 times 100? We know that 4n means 4 times n. And because n equals 100, I'll make 4 times 100, okay? 4 times 100 is 400. What is 400 minus 2? It will be 398. So the 100th term in the sequence is 398, okay? I can write one more example so that that you understand really, really well. I'm using my kids' boards and erasers. It's like a monkey eraser. Yeah. Okay, so let's find another example. Okay. So look at this sequence. 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, and so on. Okay, first step, I see it's counting by what? Here it's counting by 3. Here it's counting by 3. Here it's counting by 3. Yes, so I checked. I keep on checking. Okay? So, if it's counting by 3, what is the first thing that I write? 3n. But 3n, let me share this board with you. 3n was the formula for the sequence when it started by 3. But here this sequence, it's starting by 1. So 1 is less. 1 is less by 3 by 2. So this is less. The sequence that I'm working with is less than 3n. So it's less by 2. So the formula for this sequence is 3n by 2. Right? So this is the general formula. Okay, I think I have time for one more example. So look at the sequence, 3, 5, 7, 9. He wants you to find, there might be more than one question, for example. So he would say, what is the first term? The first term is 3. What is the fourth term? The fourth term is 9. It's counting in what? It's counting in 2s. So you can say adding 2 each time, right? Find the nth term. Now let's start. If it's counting in 2, so I should write 2n. But the original formula for counting in 2, when the formula started with 2, but this formula is starting with 3. So this is more by 1. Easy. 2n is the formula if it's counting by 2 and starting with 2. But this is starting with 3. So this is more by 1. So I will write 2n plus 1. I'm sure it's very easy now. It is. So now you know how to find the general formula for any sequence. And again, formula means a rule to find any number in the sequence. So if I want the 10th term, you can substitute by n equals 10. If I want the 20th, substitute by n equals 20. If I want the 100th, substitute by n equal 100, and so on. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you find it beneficial and you learn from it a lot. Thank you so much.